All right, guys, so before we could do anything, you're gonna need to get some tools. And like I said before, the minimum requirement here is paper and a pencil with an eraser on it. If you're on a budget, get a giant stack of printer paper. It's very cheap. But I wanna make sure I'm leaving you guys the option to explore. Try whatever tools you want to make this fun for you. I'll be switching mediums every once in a while to keep it fun for myself and to show you some more variety. An option that you youngins might be into is to do the whole thing digitally. And I'm fine with that. Whether it's Procreate on an iPad or Photoshop with a Wacom tablet, if that's what you wanna do, get your gear, get it set up. If you wanna go deeper in tool exploration of traditional mediums, the rest of this video is for you. I'll go into much more detail about these in the next few videos, but right now I'm gonna give you a quick shopping list, which you can also find in the lesson notes below with links. All of these are optional. You can choose whichever look fun to you, or all of them if you're feeling spicy. Let's start with paper. Most artists like to draw in a sketchbook. It keeps things organized, you could put it in your arm, and it's way easier to travel with than a stack of loose printer paper. Go get a sketchbook. Personally, I like slightly smoother paper, so the texture isn't getting in the way, but some artists like that. Go to the store, feel some, see what you like. One of my favorite options is the toned tan paper. Keep in mind, if you plan on using markers or brush pens, get at least 80 pound or 130 GSM, otherwise they'll bleed through and even start rippling the paper. That's super annoying. I recommend a set of graphite pencils. If you get them individually, get at least a 2H, an HB, 2B, 4B, and 6B. For more precise, consistently thin lines, I like mechanical pencils. Specifically, I usually go for 2mm. There are a lot of sets available that come with refills of all the leads you'd want. I also really like the woodless options because I can sharpen them with a sandpaper to get a lot more surface of the pencil that I can use, which means more range of strokes that I can pull. Occasionally, I'll reach for one of these 5.6mm big boys if I want really thick lines or I want to put down a lot of tone quickly. If you want to get really spicy, you can get some colored pencils. Personally, I like the red when I'm sketching and exploring. Either the Kohl Erase as a wooded option or Staedtler for mechanical lead refills. Markers. Markers are super fun, but they are a bit pricey. Especially if you want to get good ones that you won't get frustrated with. But if you want to start messing around now and you can afford to spend another 50 bucks, get a set of warm, cool, or neutral gray markers from Copic or Olo. Personally, I like making the lights and shadows a different color gray because it looks more real and interesting. For example, this skull was done with Copic markers using their warm grays for the dark markers and their cool grays for the light markers. And this one was done with the Olo markers using their red gray for the darks and warm gray for the lights. Lots of options for erasers. My favorites are the classic kneaded eraser. It gets dirty, you knead it, and it's clean again. The Koh-i-Noor Hartmouth rubber erasers, they have a picture of an elephant. These are sometimes tricky to find, but they are wonderful. Eraser pencils, which you can sharpen like a pencil and draw with. And if you just want to keep getting spicy, the electric erasers are for you. They're good for the super small details, like getting a highlight in an eye. Sharpeners. Depending on the type of pencil you choose, you have different sharpener options. For these wooded or woodless pencils, you can use any decent electric sharpener or this fancy blackling sharpener that gets a longer point. Just don't get these that come with all the pencil sets. They really suck. Even a razor blade is better. And a razor blade is actually not a bad option. A lot of pros use blades to have more control of the shape of the tip, and the longer setup process can be part of a ritual that gets your mind ready to draw. I use a blade and sandpaper for my charcoal pencils, but I stick to some of these quicker options for graphite. For 2mm mechanical pencils, I've always used the Staedtler rotary action lead pointer. It works perfectly if you know how to use it, which I'll show you in the pencil video. For the 5.6mm mechanical pencils, I just use sandpaper. Once you have all your stuff, start doodling. Make random marks on the page. If that gets boring, find something nearby and draw that. Or draw something from imagination. Just start drawing. Obviously, you have very little information right now to make these drawings look good, but we'll get there. Right now, a big wall that we need to start climbing over is the awkward feeling of not having control of the pencil. The way to get over that is mileage. Draw a lot. Use the tip to draw thin lines. Can you control how light and dark the line is? Does the pencil feel different when it's freshly sharpened versus after you've used it for a few minutes? Use the side to draw thick lines and shade large areas. Can you make a gradation from dark to light? Is the texture of the paper showing too much? Or do you kind of like that? Try your eraser. Shade an area and erase it. Make a darker area and try erasing that. What's the limit of your eraser? Start to play and get a feel for your tools. I'll see you in the next one.